Welcome to Best Kept Secrets Travel, episode 14. My name's Morgan.
And I'm Will, and on today's episode we're going to be looking into a country which quite a few of you have probably never been to, and that is Guatemala, and we're doing a deep dive for part 1.
Exciting. Roll the intro.
Best friends, and that's for life. Who stay traveling? I'm talking worldwide, 65 countries between the two. Every moment is so unbelievable. Sharing the best kept secrets about the trips and mistakes they made that they can't forget. So tell me if you're ready for a time to remember as they gear up for the next adventure. Yeah. Woo! Best kept secrets travel.
Well, I was going to say, before you start this episode, or maybe once you've started this episode, if you're watching us on YouTube, we have previously done a video on Guatemala, and it's a quick travel guide to Guatemala, and we'll put a link in the description. Now we're going into a deep dive.
We're deep diving into Guatemala, otherwise known as the land of many trees, and it's a country of volcanoes, mountains and beaches on the Pacific Ocean and Caribbean Sea. With 3 out of their 30 volcanoes still being active, this is not a country you want to miss.
Guatemala is in Central America, bounded to the north and west by Mexico, to the northeast by Belize, and by the Gulf of Honduras to the east. To the southeast by El Salvador, and the south by the Pacific Ocean. History, capital, population. History short, to the point, energetic.
Yes. According to some archaeologists, Guatemala has the oldest recorded human history in Central America, with some evidence human history going all the way back to 18,000 BC.
The Olmec civilization came from Mexico and was in Guatemala, and around 1,500 BC, the Mayan culture eventually took over the region. The pre-classic period ran from around 2000 BC to around 250 BC. And the cities of La Mirador and Tikal were founded during this time.
The first contact between the descendants of the Mayan Empire and Europeans came in 1511, when a Spanish ship foundered off the coast of Yucatan. By 1519, a few exploratory expeditions had begun to probe into what is now called Guatemala.
By 1540, the Spanish crown had official rule over the area, and Guatemala was a member of New Spain, a group of sovereign territories administered by Mexico City. However, the Captaincy General of Guatemala, operating from Antigua, Guatemala enjoyed significant freedoms in terms of how it governed local affairs.
Throughout the 1960s and 70s, Guatemala was subject to a series of brutal military regimes. Leftist opponents fought each regime alongside the long-oppressed native population, creating what eventually turned into the Latin America's longest guerrilla war.
Guatemala still remains an incredibly poor country whose economy is primarily reliant on agriculture. However, Guatemala is slowly but surely developing into a modern society, with literacy rates improving as well as efforts to increase tourism in the country. Now, we're going to move on to random facts about the country.
Did you know that Guatemalans invented the first ever chocolate bar? The Mayan people worshipped the cacao tree and see chocolate as the food of the gods.
I agree with that.
I think Willy Wonka would agree with that.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. There are many unknown ruins. The many ruins we have available are just a portion of the vast amount of ancient buildings in Guatemala. Many of them are kept hidden by locals and landowners in order to preserve their natural state. It's really crazy to think about all the cool and weird artifacts that could be buried around the country that's still undiscovered. Makes it quite a bit more interesting, a bit more Indiana Jones-esque to visit.
Indiana Jones / what was that kids Disney?
Treasure Island?
That's
Treasure Planet, even.
Space. I mean...
Atlantis?
Atlantis, yeah. It's a bit more like that / El Dorado.
/ El Dorado or Lara Croft.
El Dorado, El Magnifico. Sorry.
Or Uncharted, which has just come out.
And our next fact, Tikal National Park is the first mixed UNESCO World Heritage Site. Tikal National Park has earned its title as the first mixed UNESCO World Heritage Site because of its cultural and natural wonders. Tikal's Mayan ruins are embedded into the jungle. From a distance you can spot them pop up out of the rich green canopy. It is quite simply breathtaking to see this. I think the photos I've seen online, it has that Tarzan-y feel to it.
Yeah, and it's really strange because you can be reasonably close and not see it from all the shrubbery. And then you go up close and you suddenly see how big all these ruins are.
Yeah, it's just completely encapsulated by all the foliage in the forest.
Exactly. So the capital city moves. I have no idea how to say this. Ixmche, Iximche, with a thingy. The original capital city of Guatemala is now a historical site. The Spanish colonists organised the first move to Almolonga to make the capital easier to defend against revolts from locals. However, the volcano Agua, an inactive volcano whose crater was full of water, burst, causing a huge wave that flooded and destroyed the capital city, which is now known as Ciudad Vieja. It then moved to Antigua, Guatemala. Due to the damage from the Santa Marta earthquakes, it moved one last time to its current location way back 1776. Which is Guatemala City, I believe.
That's pretty interesting. Well, it's also home to the deepest lake in Central America. The volcano ringed Lake Atitlan is a jewel in the crown of Guatemala's tourism industry, but is also, interestingly, below the surface at 340 meters deep. Atitlan is the deepest lake in Central America, which I'm slightly repeating myself there.
There are more than 30 volcanoes, as Will said, in Guatemala. The insane number of volcanoes in Guatemala is surely enough to make you want it to be on your bucket list. But of these, the most noteworthy is possibly Tajumulco, as it's the highest peak in Central America at a whopping 4,202 meters. And out of over 30 volcanoes, only 3 are still active, which are Fuego, Pacaya, and Satiguito. And we're probably going to recommend going to 2 of them later on.
Have you ever seen a volcano or been up a volcano?
No, I messed up planning in New Zealand. That meant we missed that opportunity. Do you remember there were 2 islands?
Quite fortunately, Morgan.
2 islands that were called the same thing. But one wasn't next to the South Island and one was in the North Island. The one we needed was the North Island. And it was meant we were in the South Island.
Yeah, and about 2 months later, the volcano actually erupted, killing 34 people. It was that one. It was the one we planned on going to.
Yeah, that's...
Someone was looking over us and decided, I will make sure Morgan messes this up. So we're all fine. We're all fine.
I think.
Well,
yeah.
you'll have to get a volcano in then.
Yeah, for sure.
It
is definitely on my bucket list to do a volcano. The other volcano I wanted to visit was in Democratic Republic of Congo, and that one also erupted during COVID, and killed loads of people.
It did?
Yeah.
It did. And on a more positive note, we're about to tell you about some of the most Instagrammable locations. But for a little Instagram challenge for everyone listening now, can you post your photo on Instagram and hashtag BKS Guatemala, and we're going to look out and we will like and pop up in one of our future episodes all of the amazing photos which people have sent in.
Number 1 on our Instagrammable locations in Guatemala is Acatenango at 3,976 meters. Acatenango is the 3rd highest volcano in Central America. It is also an active volcano. Hiking up here can be tough, but the views of Antigua City when you wake up here at sunrise is worth it. And if you're lucky, although this does happen quite a lot, the neighbouring Fuego volcano will be erupting, and you'll be able to see streams of lava flowing down its side. Almost every night you can see this. There's loads of videos on YouTube of this.
Really?
It looks really cool.
Yeah, there are very few places in the world where you can see not just the like smoke coming out of the active volcano, but actually seeing the lava is one of the rarest things.
The orange stuff, yes.
No, sometimes it's blue.
2 times it's blue.
That we know of.
That we know of, yes. 2 times. And where are the 2 times? Can you remember? This is a throwback from episode 9 of season 1.
Indonesia, deep dive.
Because in Indonesia, they have blue lava. and the other place is Ikeland.
Iceland.
Yes. The other place is Iceland.
So, next on our list is Trampoline. San Marcos La Liguanda. If you're not afraid of heights, get an epic shot jumping from
Or
a
backflipping.
12-meter platform
Or not.
into the lake with a volcano
maybe.
in the background at the Trampoline in San Marcos. Located in the Cerro Tizancuji Nature Reserve, which is definitely a must-do in the area if you're there. Pay 15
Quetzals.
which is roughly $2, to get in and follow the stunning lakeside trail to get to the massive wooden platform. You cannot miss it. Get your photographer, inverted commas, aka your Insta boyfriend, to follow the path.
Why can't it be Insta girlfriend? Why can't we be the...
I don't know.
No.
Equality. To follow the path, just pass it and down to the left to shoot from a slightly lower level that will show the height of your badass jump, and get Volcano San Pedro in the shot behind you.
Beautiful. So, what would your tips be for setting up that shot and the camera? What equipment would you use? How would you do your jump?
Do probably a double backflip.
10 meters, yeah, that's quite high for double,
Okay.
so lots of room for error.
Yeah, I'll do a triple and a quad.
Okay, yeah, let's go for that.
Try and get nice and low to the ground. It gives so much more depth to a jump. The problem there is also the timing of trying to do the jump, getting the right shot so you've got the volcano in the background. So preferably try and go for more than one angle. Have something like a GoPro, just stick your back on the ground, stick GoPro on that, filming upwards. And then also be there with something like an iPhone in hand where you can use slow-mo. So you could go for a video or slow-mo and then screen grab.
Well, you can do live shots, and then you can edit and take your shots from it.
Or you could do a burst shot where you just hold down the button on an iPhone.
So if you're shooting with a DSLR or a mirrorless, you want your shutter speed as high as possible so that the photos snap really quickly. As far as the pose, you want to make yourself as big as possible. What you got to remember when you're doing jumps like this and posing like this is the camera and the photo, and no one else is ever going to see you land.
Oh, you're saying you can mess up is what you basically said.
Don't hurt yourself, but do a big pose. Make yourself really impressive. You're at an amazing location with beautiful views in the background. So just try and make it, and the longer you hold it, the longer and easier it is for your photographer to get their picture. Because these pictures aren't going to be the ones that you want to forget. Our next Instagrammable location is one that Will has already mentioned, which is Lake Atitlan. Lake Atitlan is probably the most famous and potentially, arguably, the most beautiful lake in all of Guatemala. It's located a couple of hours from Guatemala City in the southwestern highlands. Local Mayans say that Lake Atitlan is the belly button of the world. Ooh. What are you laughing at, Will?
How's your belly button?
It looks exactly like Lake Atitlan. It's beautiful. And once you've been to this mystical... Are you okay?
I just got the image of your belly button now. You're speaking about a lake. So go on.
It is beautiful, isn't it? And once you deep breath. Once you've been to this mystical place, you'll agree. The volcanoes are in the background and rustic fishing boats dotted around the lake to add to its charm. The lake has some lovely villages around it which you can visit by crossing the lake by boat.
I've just got this image of little boats around your belly button and villages.
Surely the boat would be in my belly button.
I don't know, it says around on the edge.
Okay, yeah, so on the edge of the belly button. So it's kind of like, you know, in Pirates of the Caribbean where they have that like death hole that the water's all swirling around and they're trying not to get sucked in.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
It's kind of like they're like the boats on the edge there.
Back to our locations, we've got Chichicastenango Market.
Castanango.
The Handicrafts Market in the mountain town of Chichicastenango is a riot of colour as locals sell pottery, textiles and handmade crafts. It is the largest open-air market in the whole of Central America and is held on Thursdays and Saturdays. Touristy? Of course it is. Beautiful? Hell yes.
So it's still worth doing.
Yeah.
And why are you always such a big fan about going to the markets?
I think if it's a proper crafty market, then you can see techniques and skills which are still going from years and years ago, as in they've been passed on generations. 2, you need to go buy your siblings or your parents
a shot
gift.
glass with the country's
You can
flag on
have
it.
fun and you can haggle and buy them something nice at a handcrafted market.
And where can they learn about haggling?
By going to a market or by watching our episode on haggling.
In season 1.
Yes.
Episode.
Yeah, it's one of them. Between 1 and 23.
It's definitely in the top 10, first 10.
It's definitely in the top 23.
I think it is episode 5.
Yeah,
But
I'll give that a
please tell
good
me
guess.
if I'm wrong. But Cerro de la Cruz. Cerro de la Cruz is located in Antigua and is one of the most popular Instagrammable places to visit in Guatemala. It'll take 20 whole minutes, not 20 half minutes, 20 whole minutes to climb up the stairs of Antigua City. And after that, you'll get the best viewpoint of the city. Cerro de la Cruz is free. And you can also explore the park. So it's basically just one of the best viewpoints above the city, which is always great fun because it's just like a free thing that you can do to see pretty little things. Pretty little things. Pretty little things. Next page.
Pretty little things on the next page. Indian nose. Head to San Juan La Liguana to climb Indian Nose Hill for a superb view over San Pedro, San Clara, San Pablo, and Lake Atitlan and San Pedro volcano. This will be one of the most surreal sunrise experiences you will ever have in your life. The trek is to the top and it only takes 30 minutes, so it's nice and easy.
But
unless you've got long COVID.
Or if you...
Be careful.
I am.
Yep.
Or if you're asleep.
I'm a pretty good sleepwalker.
No, that's possible. You might trip up. Laguna Brava. Laguna Brava is located in Huehuetenango. What's wrong with Huehuetenango? Laguna Brava is around the mountains, 1,140 meters high, and it's been a Mayan community since it's near the border with Mexico. Laguna Brava is popular because of its crystal clear water, and it's a must visit on our list of Instagrammable locations in Guatemala.
Now, if you're about to go to Guatemala, we've given you so many locations. We want you to
We're speaking to you specifically.
Post on Instagram, hashtag BKS Guatemala, so we can see
Do it.
your pics.
Do it. We know who you are.
Poses, your backflips, your jumps in front of volcanoes. Even if you don't go to Guatemala and you want to take part, you can take a photo of yourself and edit it on Snapchat or Photoshop and post it just for a sense of humour.
Just for a sense of humour.
Just for my sense of humour.
Nice.
A sense of humour, not your sense of humour, just for mine. So it is a
Clearly.
sense of humour. Exactly. And after you've done that, then you can come back to the podcast and you can listen to this next bit, which is one of the most important things if you're planning a trip to Guatemala, which is knowing the best time to visit. And it's best to plan this around what activities you want to do. As Guatemala tends to be warm all year round, which for us Brits would be unheard of, with temperatures averaging 32 degrees on the Caribbean coast in April and May, there's a rainy season. I'm unsure why Morgan's still laughing, but this rainy season runs from May to October, with the worst of the rain falling in September and October. The peak season is between December and March, and again between July and August, seen as the best time to visit Guatemala in terms of weather, but best to avoid if you want cheaper accommodation, as cheaper accommodation is always more available and more readily available in the off season. Now, Morgan's favourite part about any deep
You
dive
nearly did it again.
is the language.
You nearly said specific for certain activities without realising.
I know.
And then had a break.
Morgan's favourite part of any deep dive is going through the languages.
Is putting pointers after the titles to make it easier for us to do. And each time Will just reads it out.
So, as always, we're going to go through a few of our favourite phrases, which are going to help you guys start your journey when you land in Guatemala. We're going to go through hello, thank you, and can I have a beer? Plus, we're going to do one surprise random phrase. So, to start off, Morgan.
This one we should be much better at because we've been to South America.
I was about to say, I haven't been to Guatemala. So,
Me
Morgan,
neither.
how would you say hello?
Hello. Hello.
Perfect. Now.
Hola.
Woo, you nailed it. And how do you
Vale.
say thank you?
Gracias.
Your pronunciation was perfect.
Doubt it.
Now, the most important one that you'll ever ask is,
Where is the bathroom?
how do you ask for one beer, please?
Una cerveza, por favor.
So, una being one, cerveza being your beer, por favor is please and sort of like, well, it's not thank you, obviously, it's gracias, but it's a please. And if you wanted another one, so you finish your beer, waiter comes over and you look at them and then you say,
Uno más.
one more.
One more.
And that one more was our surprise phrase, as it's the most important one for anyone.
Well,
And
you're not
if
gonna
you
stop
need
at
some
one
visa
if-
advice,
don't.
all we're going to say is check yourself before referring to this
Before you wreck
podcast.
yourself.
Yeah, check yourself before you wreck yourself by border security. This is the most important thing that you're going to need to make sure you get in the country. We can advise that as of recording today, British citizens do not need a visa for the first 90 days of being in Central America, but more specifically, Guatemala.
And also just do your research because that will technically be for holiday travel, not working visa.
Always DYOR.
Bring your own booze.
No, do your own research.
Ah.
Don't bring your own booze necessarily. I don't
Well,
know
unless
their
it's
rules
under
in-
100 mils.
or you got it from
Duty free. That really confused you what duty free.
Morgan. What international airports could I travel to in Guatemala if I'm flying from the UK?
The two main international airports in Guatemala are La Aurora International Airport, and this is the most popular and is in Guatemala City. Unfortunately, I hear you.
No.
There are no direct flights from the UK or Ireland. A popular way to get to Guatemala is by boat, not from the UK or Ireland. So if you're on a larger Central America trip, you can do that. Or the land borders are also easy to cross by bus. And you can get there from Mexico, El Salvador, and Honduras.
Ooh.
And probably Belize as well.
Good prawns in Honduras.
Have you been?
No, I've just bought loads of them. A lot of the prawns in UK supermarkets from Honduras.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Specifically the king prawns.
Where do the queen prawns come from?
God didn't make them. Morgan, what is Equality International Women's Day? We're talking. It's a fly.
Oh,
What is going on?
it's an audience member.
We finally got our second audience member.
This one doesn't laugh as much as the last one.
He almost hit me. Right, hopefully he'll
Don't say anything
leave.
bad. It might.
He
Where's
might
he gonna
attack.
leave?
Morgan, what is the currency in Guatemala?
The Guatemalan quetzal.
Ooh, and £1 today is equivalent to
Roughly 10.47. Quetzal.
sounds a little bit like a pretzel.
Yeah, that's a
The local currency is the Guatemalan pretzel.
pretzel.
You can eat it.
The local currency in Guatemala is the Guatemalan quetzal. In daily use, they use the short version quetzal. At the same time, the quetzal is the name of the national bird of Guatemala. This colourful creature, with its amazing long feathered tail, is considered one of the most beautiful birds in the world, according to Will. Unfortunately, the fly is just
Fly's
attacking
hammering that
our
line.
set. Unfortunately, the pretty animal is endangered, and therefore bird lovers will find a hard time spotting them in their cloud forests.
Oh, that's sad, but on the more upbeat, the costs.
Beer.
The average beer and hostel costs. Average price of a hostel in Guatemala is around £8. The average cost of beer is roughly £1.50.
Because I said beer, I heard that in my head that a beer was £8. I was like, whoa,
It's for the London.
London prices.
The best method of transport around the country, buses. They're the most common way to travel around Guatemala. An unmissable experience in Guatemala is to jump on one of the infamous chicken buses. Although be warned, they are very overcrowded,
Probably not
disorganised,
COVID
cheap,
friendly.
and slightly dangerous. Probably definitely not COVID friendly. Amongst other things, we almost guarantee you're going to get off the beaten track with these. Yeah, just stay safe. Always safer to do something like that with at least one other travel buddy, though.
Yeah, like a chicken.
Oh. It's been a long day, Morgan. We still have part 2 to go.
Tell me about it. Right, let's move on. Well, maybe not chickens, but possibly. The first one is a chicken. Local foods and drinks. And we have Pepian, the traditional chicken.
This is where you eat your travel buddy because you've come under hard times and you've messed up your budget.
It's because it's £8 beers. It's too expensive.
Pepian. Once you've run out of money, kill your travel buddy and make him into a stew. You find this in the central region of Guatemala and can serve with veggies and rice. It's
Brownish red in colour. This stew is made out of various types of chilies, X's,
ex-friends.
paprika, and spices served with a piece of chicken. Baked potatoes, veggies, and rice are always served in and with traditional corn flour tortillas.
Oh, crying.
That's going to be a big tortilla.
Oh, once we finish this, you might want You might need a chaser. A Gallo beer. You can basically find this beer at every single bar in Guatemala, restaurant, and it's just the home of the country, really. It's produced in the Guatemala city. It's advertised everywhere. It's what Budweiser is to Americans. Does that mean it's just like water? Because Budweiser sucks.
But they have the... No.
Budweiser, if you want to sponsor this podcast, we'll accept your money, but I won't ever say that your beer's nice.
So what's the equivalent for the UK, would you say? Would you go as low as Stella, or...
No,
Stella's
Stella's rebranded. Stella's done all right.
Carlsberg's rebranded with the Pilsner. Which
yeah,
is
and
nice.
that's drastically nicer.
But
Where's Coors Light from? That's American.
Yeah,
that's
not
also
English.
water.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to this beer
Americans
because it might
drink
actually be
water.
it might be quite nice. This is one of the best beers in Central America, and supposedly Morgan Script would recommend it to anyone.
Yes, this very script. And then after that, you can get relanitos. This food is served as a dessert. Relanitos are balls fried in plantain pudding filled with black beans, chocolate and cinnamon. A perfect on-the-go food, or something just to finish your meals.
Have you ever thought when a fly flies full speed into a wall, how does it survive it?
Does it? Do they have like airbags in their head? Did it not survive?
It's under your shirt. I think. Is there? Maybe you trapped it. It'll be coming home with you.
Great.
What was your question, sorry?
Maybe they have airbags.
Oh, the flies. I was really confused. Yeah. Well, once you've had this lovely plantain pudding, you can have a little bit more booze. You could have Quetzalteca Rosa del Jamaica.
That was
Like the
saying
name
in
suggests,
multiple
and that
accents.
exactly suggests, that was in many accents. This is a pink moonshine style drink. It costs around $1 for a small container. It's strong, sweet, and intense all at the same time, and will knock your funky socks off. Oh, you've actually got cool socks on today.
Yay! I think any drink that describes what you're having it in as being in a container sounds like it's going to be pretty lethal.
Yeah, but
Sounds like fun.
if I was buying a bottle of wine, I'd see the bottle as a container.
But you describe it as a bottle.
I don't. I always ask for a
Oh, could I
container of
have
wine.
a magnum container of Bordeaux, please? Is that how
That
you
made you
say
sound
it?
really posh on the podcast, Morgan. I just asked for a container of Echo Falls.
Container of Barefoot.
Container of
It's
Stella.
award winning. Well, I would say a container would be a
Six-pack
bit
of
more.
containers.
I would say a container would be more like goon, although it's a sack, but still technically a container.
We're not getting into whether a sack's a container. Let's go on.
What is it containing?
So, enchilada. This is not your Mexican enchiladas, but rather a tostada on steroids. This tasty snack, or full meal, some would rather say, is topped with beets, hard-boiled sliced eggs, lettuce, onions, cheese, lots of other veggies, and towers with magnificent taste. I do like a Mexican enchilada, though.
Sounds cool. So this is.
Where did that fly go?
this,
Just hammered the...
It's there.
How is it still alive?
So we've got the same Quetzalteca, so we'll go on to Gallo and Chica. This is quite literally a rooster. A rooster prepared in a sweet and sour stew that you took on your chicken bus. It softens the meat until perfection. It's not available everywhere. But it's still, if you can find it, it's one of the good things to try. We like this next one in South America.
What? Gallo and Chica?
Nope. The next one.
Rum.
Yep.
You know what? Sometimes beer is not the only popular Guatemalan alcoholic drink. This country also distills some of the world's best and most famous rum. The standout brand is the Capa Centenario. I have actually had that.
Actually sounds.
I've had Zacapa before.
Have you?
Yeah, you get quite a lot of it over here. Zacapa.
Exactly. Some of the best rum in the world.
It was alright. Apparently it's an award-winning rum made in eastern Guatemala. Some varieties are aged for as long as 30 years. That's older than us.
That is. But
I am old.
if we round our age up, we'll be 50. The next one... It's according to my brother. The next one is Kuchitos, a very common street food, which is corn dough lumped into a ball filled with tomato sauce and more chicken, and boiled to perfection. Kuchitos come wrapped in corn stalk leaves, keeping them ready for consumption. I think you need quite a few travel buddies on these chicken buses to go through all these different chicken dishes.
Yeah.
I feel like
You've killed a lot of friends. If you go to Guatemala, you're going to have to kill your whole travel group.
and vegetarians can have rum and beer.
We don't talk about that, Morgan. Last but not least, for part 1 of our deep dive into Guatemala is Liquidos.
Liquidos. Feels like that should be a
This
jingle.
Guatemalan drink is a delicious blended fruit smoothie. Many different fruits grow in Guatemala, which increases all the different liquado combinations that you could possibly have. First, start with milk, yogurt, or water. Then add your favourite fruits, which could be banana, papaya, cantaloupe, watermelon, pineapple, mango, or...
Guana banana. Banana. Banana.
It's guanabana.
Guatemala.
Sometimes orange juice is added. Sugar is often added, but you can ask for it with or without this. Licuadas are served in so many restaurants, so you won't have a hard time finding this super tasty drink. If you're concerned about drinking the water in Guatemala, you should be. Make sure you have your licuada made with milk or yogurt rather than water, or if they do have it, bottled water. An extra precaution would be to choose fruit that requires peeling, because then it hasn't been exposed to tap water. This is
That's the best
key
kept
travel
secret.
advice for so many countries.
That's the best kept secret.
If you're going and having a fruit smoothie or something, try and get it from somewhere
Or
where
fruit.
they're literally peeling it just to make your specific drink. Don't go somewhere where they have bowls and bowls and bowls of it just sat around where flies can get on it, more hands have touched it, or they've potentially rinsed it out. It sounds bad, but a lot of tap water around the world in these sort of countries is not to the same standard of a super first world country like the United Kingdom.
Fantastic.
And
And
the
this,
same applies, you to ice cubes.
I was about. You
caref-
did stole what I was gonna say.
It's because I'm just so ahead of you right now, Morgan. Is ice
Or we're
cubes
in sync.
are often made,
No.
almost
don't want that.
always made
Please no.
with tap water. And firstly, if you get ice cubes, you get less drink in your cup. Secondly, if you get ice cubes, you get Delhi belly. And it won't just be in Delhi, it'll be all around the world.
Yeah, we were fine in Delhi.
Were you?
Yeah.
You said we like I was part of that, but I wasn't.
No, it was we as in myself.
You and your chickens.
My chickens, who I went with.
I'm going to make sure this fly is no longer for part 2.
You'll see in part 2. So, how can people find us?
It's behind our
It's
brick wall.
behind the brick wall. That's real. The wall is real.
It's not moving right now.
How can people find us?
So Morgan's address
Is
you can find us on Instagram, YouTube, or all podcast platforms that you listen to. That is how you find us.
And what are we called?
We are called Best Kept Secrets Travel.
Yeah, that's fine. And how do we grow more trees to kill flies? I don't know how that
I
would
don't
work.
specifically know of tree species that kill flies, apart from
Some
flytrap,
of the ones in the Amazon.
Venus flytrap, but that's not really a tree.
Some of the ones in the Amazon seem dangerous enough, like the poisonous ones.
Yeah, or you just get Venus flytrap, but that's not a tree. how can we plant more trees?
Or a spiky tree.
If you all go, so everyone listening or watching us right now, go to your local garden centre and buy a tree, take it out and put it in the ground. That way we'll plant more trees.
That would be much more efficient than the way we're doing it.
The way we're doing it is, if you subscribe onto YouTube, for every 100 followers, we will be planting a tree in a National Trust site somewhere around the UK. For every 50 downloads on our podcast platform, we will be planting a tree somewhere around the world.
Exciting. And I think we will have a tree update at some point in the future.
We will.
Yeah.
We'll do a mega tree update.
And I think this is about time. It's been a very loose, not necessarily fast moving. Lots of chickens, though.
We're just going with the flow. We're trying to make the podcast
as the chicken is in the stew,
as smooth and as chilled as possible, and not being rigid at all, and having those mid-conversation discussions.
That's why we stretch.
If you do or don't like this, specifically if you don't like this, then just don't comment. If you like it, just tell us how much you like our talk. And
if you have enjoyed it, and especially if you got to this part in the episode, please leave us a review.
And have a beer.
I think it's about time.
Try out the lines. Una más. Una cerveza, por favor. Namabiro kodasai. Can I have a beer, please?
Roll the outro.
Yeah, let's make it happen. I hope that you can handle going on adventures, best kept secret travels. Yeah, all over the globe, having fun, you know the deal. Amazing secret locations, hang out with Morgan and Will. Educate and entertain, haggle in the market, sharing their experiences. Time to get it started. Let's go.